Welcome to the City Manager's Report. Your hosts, Emily Mikowski of Oshkosh Community Media and City Manager Mark Roloff.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on this special edition of City Manager's Report. I'm your host, Emily Mikowski, joined as always by your City Manager, Mark Roloff. Now, on a typical episode of CMR, we usually will be covering some hot topics, the latest and greatest here in Oshkosh, as well as a preview of the upcoming City Council meeting agenda. However, on this special edition, as the year comes to an end, we like to take a little bit of a review, take a look back at some of the top 10 great places and things that we've accomplished this year. So, a little bit of a year in review, some topics that you could say are the top 10.
Top stories, great year in 2015.
Yeah, so without further ado, City Manager Mark Roloff, thank you so much for joining us today.
Great to be here, Emily.
Yes, and we have a completely packed show. We budgeted a certain amount of time for each thing because we've got so much to cover, so let's go ahead and get right into it. We'll count down from 10 all the way to the top thing that we believe was the biggest accomplished this year in Oshkosh. So
let's go.
All right, number 10 we've got is the Buckstaff Settlement was reached. And this is pretty late breaking news, but we thought it was top 10 worthy because it's so big.
Got it under the wire. A great final decision or final accomplishment in terms of reaching a settlement, but it's been going on for a number of years. Buckstaff is a very old company in town, fallen on hard times and closed, I believe, back in 2012. And the property literally closed up. The bank foreclosed on it, so we needed to have, frankly, it cleaned up because it was not just an eyesore, which it was, but it's a danger to our community. It's certainly a fire hazard, potential environmental, which we've addressed as well. But we knew we needed to get the property and all the code violations and all the safety issues addressed, and we've done it with the settlement agreement.
So the settlement was reached. Where do we go from here? What's the plan?
Well, the agreement itself calls for the bank to put up some money, the bank that foreclosed, put up some money. We're applying for some grants. That's really what's the next step in the process. Get some grants applied for with the state, and then once the grant is approved, then we can do the knockdown. Then after the knockdown's complete, we'll take ownership of the property.
Wonderful. And we'll be talking more about plans for that space in future episodes of City Manager's Report as well.
Right, and we're hoping to have everything down early spring. That's what I'm hoping for.
Very exciting. A great way to kick off the top 10. It's big news, very late breaking, and we're excited about it. Number 9, Mark, is for the Oshkosh Public Museum. The Art of the Brick really highlighted a very busy season this year in 2015.
It was a really busy season with the Public Museum. The Art of the Brick was one-of-a-kind Lego exhibits by Nathan Sawaya. We had 28,000 visitors come visit the museum, and if you weren't one of them, shame on you, because it was really cool. This was the second highest attendance ever. A lot of people may remember the Titanic exhibit. Titanic is still number 1, but the second highest attendance, and it was just consistent people coming in. 96 groups came to visit the museum, along with over 2,700 people within those groups. So you had, and then on top of that, another 25,000 other visitors. So we were very pleased with the results of that. But we also had some other busy events over there at the museum as well.
Yes, the Night Whispers exhibit was a huge hit this year. It sold out by the first weekend. It's only in October, so after the first week of October, they were completely sold out. So we can definitely anticipate that coming in the next year as well as the Deck the Halls exhibit. Everybody looks forward to that every year, and it's always a success.
Yeah, so from early in the summer all the way through the end of the year, the museum was extremely busy, and we were real happy to see that. So yeah, of course, Deck the Halls is an annual favorite. The Lego exhibit, it's one of a kind. Those happen every so often. But the museum is going to be looking at some new things for 2016. The People of the Waters exhibit is going to be the new exhibit in the main display area, the first area you see, telling a history of the area, a much more interactive, much more modern museum exhibit. That's what you're going to see going on in 2016 and actually into 2017. So we're excited about all the things that are going on at the museum.
Yes, wonderful things always happening at the museum, and we're looking forward to the People of the Waters as well. Number 8, Mark, is a stormwater topic. Wouldn't be in an episode of CMR without stormwater. And this is a really worthwhile topic for the top 10. It's continuing on. There's always great projects happening. Tell us about the latest projects in 2015.
A lot of people ask because they say, well, we've gotten these projects done, but we have so many different watersheds. The example that we're talking about this year is 9th and Washburn. And this is a little bit of before, during, and after. This was the area we purchased right behind where Pizza Ranch is and all that. And through the transition, we started digging and basically create a depression in the earth so that water can go there. This takes water from both Sawyer and Campbell Creek over in the West Haven area and holds it back before it crosses over and gets into some of the higher developed areas, the older developed areas. And those areas were flooded incredibly in 2008 and 2010, so we needed to take care of it. So this is the after. This is what happens where the water is held back before it crosses under Highway 41. So it's a huge improvement for public safety, and I think it's a wise investment that we've made, and we're continuing to do that. The other project that we worked on and finished up was the Armory detention area. That is exclusively Campbell Creek.
That's over by Best Buy and that area.
Immediately behind Best Buy, the Huntington Downs neighborhood, that was flooded very much in 2008 and 2010. In fact, I just happened this weekend to talk to one of the residents over there in the Huntington Downs area, and she commented that she had so many areas of her house and so many areas of her yard flooded in 2008 and 2010. And she said it's so much of an improvement. She doesn't have to worry about these couple-inch rains causing flooding in her residence. So that's a big relief to her. And she said, and it actually looks pretty nice. The after picture is nice, but we didn't do it for the aesthetics. We did it to manage stormwater, and we're very happy that we're making progress. And you're going to see more continue on the north side in 2016.
Yes, it's a continuous project with stormwater, and we look forward to seeing more success in 2016. Number 7, Mark, is kind of an interesting one. It's retirements lead to new leadership. 2015 was kind of a big year. We had 2 longtime department heads retire and some great new hires. So tell us first about the Oshkosh Police Department.
Well, the Oshkosh Police Department is the chief is selected by the Police and Fire Commission, so there's a very inclusive project. And oddly enough, the successful candidates for both Public Works and Police are in this picture here. We held a series of events, input session to find out what features we wanted in the chief, and then we had a meet and greet with all the 5 finalists. So everybody got to kind of kick the tires on our potential candidate. And we were very pleased to do a nationwide search for both police chief and public works director. At the end, we selected Dean Smith from Suffolk, Virginia as our police chief. We're real happy to have him join us. And then similarly, we when Dave Potek retired back in May, we did a national search again. Now, after that national search, we ended up narrowing it down to local candidates. And James Robbie, who was running our stormwater program, which we just talked about, he demonstrated his leadership skills in that area, and we felt he was the right person for the job for Public Works Director. I was very pleased to make that appointment, and pleased that James is part of the department head management team. And then, as I mentioned, Dean Smith is the new chief beginning January 11th. Chief Smith will be here for swearing in on January 5th, and we're real happy that the process was very inclusive and that we have 2 quality candidates that will be leading 2 of our largest departments.
Yes, we will definitely be missing those longtime employees, Scott Groyle and Dave Potek. They did a wonderful job, but we're looking forward to all the great things that are going to come out of these new leaders in
Absolutely.
our city.
Dave and Scott were wonderful, and I'm going to miss them terribly.
Mm-hmm. So number 6 on our top 10 of 2015, Mark, is merits of road diets debated. And now this is kind of an interesting topic. It's been a huge topic of discussion in 2015. Maybe you can give us a little bit of a review of the process where we've come.
Well, the process involved getting input from the neighbors, and there was a lot of disagreement and a lot of misunderstanding about road diets. And I think part of the issue was that road diets couldn't get divorced from the discussion of bike and ped lanes. And bicycle and pedestrian lanes are part of road diets sometimes, but they don't have to be. And ultimately, in the end, we decided that we needed to separate the 2 so we could have that discussion. And you can see that the result is that now we have a dedicated turning lane. Even though we don't have 2 lanes going in each direction, it's improved safety. Traffic's been calmed on Murdoch. The speeds are reduced, which is great for the neighborhood. We've had residents call us now that it's in place, now that they understand it a little better. And I mean, people are saying, I love it. It's so much easier to make turns. Another one talked about how the intersection for Murdoch, Elmwood, and Vinland has been much improved. It's safer to make those turns. The one thing I would say is the tough part is as you're going west over by Wisconsin, you got to get over to the right. So there's been a little difficulty with the transition areas. I think it's going to take people to get used to, but overall it's been a very positive thing. And actually one of the critics of the plan, called to apologize and said the road diet works better than he anticipated. And I think it's just a matter of change is difficult. Give us a little time, and I think that's good that we let the process go through. Not everybody agreed, but in the end, I think we've improved public safety, and that's what it's all about.
Definitely. It's great to see that people are warming up to the idea a little bit, and we look forward to more great changes ahead for any of these issues that might come up. Moving into the top 5, Mark, number 5 in the top 10 of 2015, neighborhood progress continues. And this is a huge loaded topic because they have been very busy this year. And we could talk for the whole half hour about it, actually, but we've got a couple of highlights that we can cover here.
Only so much time. So in the quick time, a couple areas. Middle Village has done a great job. They've really taken leadership and taken ownership of some of these improvements. Green space on Franklin and Ida Avenue, installation of a community garden, and installed 98 terrace trees on West Parkway. A lot of rehabilitation projects as well. And it brings the communities together. You saw the neighborhood meetings. National Night Out was a big part of that, but it's engaging the neighborhoods and doing things with their neighbors and getting collective ownership. Miller's Bay is another area. We installed 22 terrace trees in the area. We completed a neighborhood planning process. The city's second neighborhood plan was adopted in October. And then improvements to the George Washington Triangle. The Emmeline Cook School was really cool because it was also supported by the Millers Bay Association, the North Shore Association, and even the school district got involved. But the neighbors felt that beautification around the schools was part of it. But it's getting the neighbors together and being involved, and the National Night Out was part of that. And then, of course, the police department. They get the command and community outreach vehicle out there, engaged with the neighbors, and of course the Oshkosh North Communities Program has been wonderful. We honored them at State of the City, and it was well deserved. And you know what they did after that? They did even more. They've got a neighborhood process where they're having the kids identify their neighborhoods and really talk about the issues that are going on in their neighborhood. So they get to understand it, understand the complexities of getting neighborhoods improved, and a very mature group of young adults. The future's bright when we got kids like this out there.
Oh yeah, and this event that we're seeing on tape here is a culminating event that they had put together to talk to the public about what they learned, about why neighborhoods are important, and about things that they value in their own neighborhood. So it's just great to have the community's involvement. It's great to I'm going to mention the other neighborhood associations, River East, Menominee South, Stevens Park, Algoma Park. Everybody's been doing such a great job this year. There's so many projects. Talk to Liz or Alexa in planning if you want to know more about neighborhood associations, because they're just doing a crazy amount of work. It's just great.
And it's important that we continue to look for other neighborhoods because the neighborhood associations are great, but if there's not one in your neighborhood, give Alexa or Liz a call, and we will help them organize a neighborhood association, and you can take advantage of all the great things that can happen when you organize one of those.
Yes, wonderful topic. Love that one. Item number 4, Mark, is the South Park Inclusive Playground was dedicated. This is another one of my favorite topics. It's a great collaboration between a lot of different entities. Tell us about this awesome park. It's
a lot of fun too. You can't forget about that. June 5th was the ribbon cutting and the grand opening, and the video you see is the culmination of all this work. And there's so much collective pride and ownership of our park system and everything that goes along with it. There was a community picnic. The neighbors were there just enjoying it, people throughout the city. But it's all the stuff that happened behind the scenes that made it successful. It's the collaboration with the city, but it's the community foundation, the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation. Community First Credit Union was involved in it, the John E. Kinzel Foundation, and then a lot of people who understand the need to have a playground where kids with disabilities can enjoy, their parents, their grandparents can enjoy, parents and grandparents who may be disabled who can enjoy playgrounds with their kids under normal circumstances. Now they have the ability to enjoy the playground with their children or grandchildren. And you look at this and you don't even think about it being an inclusive playground. It just is by its nature. And so all the groups that worked together and never gave up. They started out real modestly with a bake sale and things like that. That wasn't going to do it. The community foundation got involved, and they recognized that it was more than, it was going to take more than just a bake sale. The city put up about half the money, and all the foundations and the fundraisers took care of the rest. So this wasn't just the city doing a project. This was the community doing a project, and I'm so proud when these things culminate in a facility like this.
And you know, this is the grand opening, and I have to tell you, I've been back out there a few times, and that playground is always just that busy. The kids are drawn to it, they love it. And you know, going back to the collaboration between the different entities, they're in the process of creating a picket fence that people can purchase little spokes of the fence too. So you can kind of get involved and really take ownership of that park. It's really neat. So maybe we could talk about a little bit of a plan ahead for 2016 for some other improvements. These
collaborations are so successful, and now there are groups of people, the Rotary clubs in town are looking to do a rehabilitation of the Little Oshkosh project that was done in the late 90s. And it's, you know, it's starting to fall into an aged situation, and seeing all the success we've had with the inclusive playground, they want to redo that, and you're going to see a lot of fundraising efforts and the efforts to get that project up and running in 2016 and going into 2017. So we're really pleased that the community is stepping up and seeing the value of doing these types of improvements.
Such great projects. It really it gives you a good feeling about living here in Oshkosh. So we're so happy to report that. Top 3, Mark. We're moving into the final phases of our top 10 here. Number 3, we have Greater Oshkosh Economic Development Corporation was launched. And this is a huge one.
Wonderful accomplishment, and it started to gel this year because we had the kickoff event in March and April, and 70 Oshkosh businesses and organizations invested a total of $522,000 in the Greater Oshkosh Economic Development Corporation. So you know that this is a cross-section of the community. It's not just city government or county government. It's all of us working collaboratively together. With the city and the county and some of our other public partners, we've got about another $175,000 on top of that. But we're very excited about the results of it. Already, we've completed projects working with 6 companies, and the private investment in our community is nearly $20 million and a total of about 259 jobs created. That's really what economic development's about. It's getting private investment. So we've taken $500,000 of private donations and leverage it into $20 million, and we're not done yet. We just did our annual report, year-end report, and we're very excited. Jason White, the CEO of Greater Oshkosh Economic Development Corp, was happy to report so many great, the numbers I just shared with you, along with a bunch of other numbers, and they've met with, they wanted to make 150 business contacts in the first year. In 8 months, they've already gotten to 119, so they got 80% of the goal in 8 months. So they're ahead of schedule, and we're really pleased with the progress they're making.
And I think one of the most amazing things is how far they've come in such a short amount of time. Now, they just launched, and they're already 80% to their goal. It hasn't even been a full year yet. So it's just amazing to see how much success they've had. We really look forward to future projects, and we got to get a little plug in there for their website, because there's so much more information that you can find out at their website, greateroshkosh.com. They're very active on Facebook, really updating people on different projects that are going on, and I think a lot of area businesses are very thankful for having this one-stop shop here in Oshkosh.
Yeah, you can see the screen, all the businesses that invested in it, they do believe in it, the business community believes in it, and it's going to be a wonderful organization that will, even the investments we have right now, that's just scratching the surface. That's just making initial contacts. We've already been able to see these accomplishments. So laying the groundwork, we're going to be able to engage the business community and entrepreneurs who want to expand businesses and see some great things going down the road with the investment that we've been able to make in Greater Oshkosh Economic Development Corporation.
Yes, we look forward to springboarding off of this, and it's only going to get better from here. We really look forward to that. Item number 2 in the top 10 of 2015, Mark, is the Riverwalk Bridge was completed. And we talked about this a lot over the course of the year about the construction and the plans and everything, and it's really neat to say that it is complete now, and it's a great looking thing.
The bridge is really neat. You know, the Riverwalk itself is wonderful, but this is just much a more visible site. And for those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's at the end of Michigan Street where the old railroad bridge crossed over there. But we put a bridge to get over the water there. We received a number of state grants, and that also enables us to put in the shelter and restroom area there.
So not only a bridge.
It's not just a bridge, so it's very family oriented. There's a parking area there, and you can see that the bridge, the span of the bridge gets you such a vantage point for the other parts of the Riverwalk. You go back and you look back towards the university, go look over across the Marion Road, see the things that are happening. The bridge is handicapped accessible, so anybody can use it and enjoy it, but you see all the vantage points that are along the Riverwalk, both on the north side as well as just going east and west. So,
and my favorite part is the old railroad entrance with the year on it. I think that is so cool.
We took the old railroad bridge that was taken down back in 2013, and we've taken the gateway there that shows the date of 1899. So it adds a little element of history for it. So people down the road will say, what the heck is this bridge from 1899 doing here? Well, it's really more 2015, but it's that's where it terminates going east right now. But this is where we're going to keep launching the Riverwalk, and in 2016 we're going to do the official opening of that area because it got finished just before it started to get cool. We're going to have the kayak boat launch finished in 2016, so we're going to be able to see that. You can just see just how new it is, and of course the dead end right now.
Yep.
That's going to be continuing in 2016. The next step with the Riverwalk is to go east of Oregon to the Dockside Tavern. That ground is already broken on that. The area to connect the bridge over to Oregon, that's probably that's going to take a little more time, but we really want to work with the owners of what's now called the Morgan District. We want to work with them and make sure that it gets in sync with whatever plans they have for that. And they're still working on their plans for redeveloping that site. But look at the vantage point you have here. This it really is a source of pride for the community. And you can, if you go over by the Technical College or the Senior Center, or go over by the bridge, you can walk. You've got a really good length of the Riverwalk to walk.
Yes, it's a really nice little walk. And I think you mentioned this already, but it's a really cool vantage point. You don't get to see the river from that angle, from a little bit up higher in that way. And so it's really neat once you get up on the bridge. You don't realize how much you can really see and how far you can go with that.
And it's very family friendly, especially with the park and the restroom there and the parking area. So I'd encourage people to go take a look at it and keep looking. This is just the latest addition to our Riverwalk system. It's done on the north side, and we're expanding on the south side of the river. And we're excited, and you're going to see more progress as we move forward in 2016 and beyond.
Yes. All right, so that has concluded the number 2 item here, Mark. Now we're going to move into the number 1, what we believe is the top project that we have completed here in 2015, and that is the Public Works Field Operations Facility, of course.
We're very happy to have the Public Works Field Operations Facility done.
Yes, and it's open and it's being used right now.
It's actually all the Public Works employees who were supposed to be there are in there. We had the ribbon cutting on May 30th after a groundbreaking back in August of 2013. So it's taken a little over 2 years to get everything done. The facility has just been such an improvement over what we had in the past. And we showed people how things improve, but I have to remind people because there's still a little bit of revisionist history. People saying, "Oh, you didn't need it," but so our staff at OCMS has made sure that we memorialize the conditions that were there. It's not just that it was dirty. A garage is going to get dirty, but it was very inefficient.
And the size.
The size, the vehicles over time. We were talking before we started the show. The vehicles have grown over the years, and it would take it would take a massive effort just to change the oil in a snowplow truck. And any little thing that went wrong, we'd have to move everything out. So this is an area that just needed to be improved, and vehicles weren't being protected, so they wear out quicker. And I really think that we've been able to do a lot of positive things. Everything's consolidated. Refuse and sanitation, recycling are over here now. The green waste drop-off area is much improved, easier in, easier out. We have a fueling facility, not just for Public Works, but we also collaboratively work with every city department as well as the Oshkosh Area School District. People don't know that we're their gas station as well, because we work together. They didn't need to have a fueling station if we've got a centrally located space. So those are the collaborative things we work on.
And they're just finishing the storage building too.
The storage building's a cold storage building. We're getting that finished up, and we're very happy with that. You see the fueling system, and of course the salt shed. We're going to have all the salt consolidated here. It's just going to make loading our salt trucks much easier, so that when we get snow, even though this season we haven't seen it yet, when we get the snow, it's going to be much quicker, and you're going to be able to get out of the gate a lot quicker to get to the bridges and get to the major streets that need to get done. The efficiencies that we've built in are so much better now. So the salt shed, it's really interesting. I
love this video.
How the process works. This is the salt getting delivered, and there's a little conveyor belt that chugs it all the way up to the very top of the salt shed.
And it answers the question of why that shed is shaped in that weird shape.
It really does. It's
triangle.
A dome shape. It's not weird, but you see it
Yeah.
delivers at the top, and then it forms a perfect cone, so the building is in the shape of how the salt gets delivered into the shed. We don't just shove it in, we deliver it off the top, and it's much easier to deliver it that way, and then we can bring the end loader in, get the salt out. It reforms back to that nice little cone shape, and it gets people out. And one thing I gotta say, it has restored efficiencies that were lost over the years. We've made a lot of reductions in staffing in Public Works over the last 10, 15 years. I estimate we've at least gained a full-time person right out of the gate, right out of start opening this building, we've already saved. And when you think about the other efficiencies we've added with automated recycling and refuse, we're making ourselves operate much more efficiently than we did in the past, and that's really given the value to the taxpayer.
Yes, and I think you can ask any Public Works employee, Kevin Ewan, the Director of Streets, they will completely vouch for all of the great things that have come out of this new building. Like you said, it's like gaining a full-time person. It's amazing how much the efficiency has been improved.
And we're going to continue to show people and demonstrate how we've been able to improve our efficiencies, because I think we owe it to the public to explain that. There will be people who may be a little more skeptical about it, but it's our responsibility to share information with the public about how we're making use of their tax money. And believe me when I say this was a wise investment, and we're going to reap the dividends of this building for many years to come. So
yes.
It's a great number one project for 2015.
It is, and we almost kind of anticipated it last year when we were looking at the progress that was being made, that this would be one of the top 3 in 2015. So a great list of top 10 items. Mark, any final thoughts on 2015?
I'm really pleased with the progress we make, and that the trust that the public puts in us, because we're using their monies, and we have to make sure that we're responsible custodians of public funds. So I'm happy to do it, and we had a great year, and I'm so thankful to talk about it on City Manager's Report. And if you're tuning in, thank you for watching us every other week throughout the whole year.
Yes, it's so great to take a look back at all that the city has been working so hard for all of our citizens. So yeah. Mark, as always, for every episode, and especially for this special edition, thanks so much for joining us today.
Always.
That's going to do it for the Top 10 edition of City Manager's Report. Make sure you tune in to City Cable 10 for all of your programming on City Cable 10 or live online at oshkoshcommunitymedia.org. You can also listen to live coverage of City Council as well as other meetings on 101.9 WOCT or also online on the OCMS website. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter for all of your community and government programming and updates, or check out our YouTube channel for government meeting replays and past episodes of your favorite programs. Thanks again for joining us for the CMR Top 10 of 2015 episode, and we'll see you in 2016.